Greetings. My name is Christopher Falconer. I would welcome 5 minutes of your time today to share why I wrote this important book, Endure in Love, and why I think you should read it as well. I wrote Endure in Love, Principles for Nurturing Relationships That Last, because it's actually my personal testimony. And I believe that it speaks directly to the issues and challenges that confronts our society today, especially as it relates to relationships. We're living in a time where relationships feel so fragile, so much more fragile than ever, quite frankly. Marriages are under pressure, friendships are drifting, families are hurting, and even in our churches and communities, we see division, where, quite frankly, there should be unity. People are searching, truly searching for something real, something lasting, something rooted in more than just emotion or convenience. And I kept seeing the same pattern over and over. Love was breaking because people had become disconnected, really disconnected from its source, God, who is the author of relationship and love. So this book was born out of real experiences, real pain, and real prayers, including my own. I've walked through seasons of disconnect, waiting, disappointment, misunderstanding, and yes, struggle. But thanks to God, I've also walked through restoration, forgiveness, grace, and really the healing that only God can bring. I began to realize something very important, especially during my marital life, which teaches us that, our culture, as I think about it, teaches us that love is a feeling. And the Bible teaches us that love is a choice. And those choices like patience, kindness, humility, honor, forgiveness, hope, trust, perseverance, those are principles that I covered in my book. Those principles are the foundation of relationships that truly endure. So, in Enduring Love, I walk through chapter by chapter through the principles that make relationships thrive. It has made mine thrive. It has helped transform my relationship. Patience when frustration rises. Kindness for when the heart feels cold. Forgiveness when bitterness whispers. Humility when pride's won control. Commitment for when life gets hard, because that's inevitable. Covenant faithfulness when culture tells you to walk away. And trust and faith when you can't see the whole picture. Tomorrow can seem challenges, or challenging for that matter. Each chapter of this book is grounded in Scripture and filled with practical wisdom. Not just ideas, but real steps you can take in your marriages, in your family, in your friendship, and quite frankly, your walk with God. You're going to find examples like Ruth and Boaz, Hosea, patience, mercy, and quite frankly, the sacrificial love of Christ for his church. You're also going to find some parables that I use to really help you understand each of the principles and relate to them. And there's some reflection and really, more important, some heart level truth that can help you apply God's love to your everyday life. Because the truth is, love doesn't fail because it's weak. Love actually fails because it's not rooted deeply enough in a foundation that can sustain it. So my prayer is that this book becomes more than just something you read. I pray it becomes something you live. I pray it strengthens your marriage. It heals your family. It deepens your relationship. More important, it restore what's broken. And remind you that with God, all things are possible, and that love can endure anything. So whether you're beginning your journey in a relationship, or perhaps you're in a difficult season, or trying to rebuild what feels lost, I assure you there is hope. You don't have to do this alone. God is still the author of relationships that last. And so I invite you to take a journey with this book, a journey towards deeper, stronger, and more resilient relationship. If your heart is ready to discover God's design for love, a love that's patient, kind, forgiving, faithful, and steadfast, I encourage you to get a copy of Enduring Love. You can find this at my author's website. That's www.christopherfalconer.com. I call this book a companion for the heart. I hope you'll get a copy, especially now it's the holiday. This is a legacy of love you can give to a loved one or a friend or family. Take a journey with it. Thank you for your 5 minutes and hope you'll take this journey. Bye-bye.